As the days passed, Kioma found herself struggling to come to terms with her decision. Despite putting on a brave face, her heart ached with longing for Obi. She couldn't shake the feeling that she had made a mistake by sacrificing her own happiness. Meanwhile, Prince Obi and Adama's marriage faced its own challenges. While they were initially filled with joy and excitement, cracks began to form in their relationship. Adama's jealousy and manipulative ways caused tension between them, leaving Prince Obi feeling trapped and conflicted. Meanwhile, Adama's relationship with Prince Obi's mother, the Queen, soured as well. Adama would often clash with the Queen, constantly nagging and disregarding the rules of the palace. She would come and go as she pleased, ignoring the traditions and expectations of royal life. To make matters worse, Adama would sometimes bring her friends to the palace to party, much to the king's dismay. The king, already frustrated by Adama's disrespectful behavior, was outraged by her blatant disregard for palace etiquette. The tension between Adama and the royal family reached a breaking point, with Prince Obi caught in the middle. Despite his efforts to mediate, the conflicts only seemed to escalate, threatening to tear apart the fragile bonds of their marriage and the harmony of the palace. Prince Obi's frustration reached a boiling point as he blamed his mother for the predicament he found himself in. "It's all your fault, mother," he exclaimed, his voice filled with anger and resentment. "You pushed me to marry Adama instead of Kioma, and now look at the mess we're in." The Queen, taken aback by her son's outburst, tried to defend her actions. "I only wanted what was best for you, Obi," she insisted, her voice tinged with regret. "I thought Adama was the right choice, but I see now that I was wrong." But Prince Obi was unwilling to listen. "Wrong? You were more than wrong, mother. You've ruined everything," he shouted, his frustration boiling over. The Queen couldn't take it anymore. "How do you expect me to agree with you to marry a blind girl? That's just not possible," she exclaimed, her voice trembling with frustration and sadness. Prince Obi felt a pang of guilt as his mother spoke. He realized he'd been unfair to her. "I'm sorry, mother," he muttered, his voice filled with regret. But before he could say more, the Queen turned and left the room, her heart heavy with sorrow. Prince Obi watched her go, feeling a sense of sadness wash over him. Alone with his thoughts, Prince Obi knew he had to make things right. He couldn't bear the thought of his mother being upset because of him. Determined to mend their relationship, he set out to find her, hoping to make amends and rebuild the bond they once shared. As Prince Obi searched for his mother, he couldn't shake the feeling of guilt that weighed heavily on his heart. He found her sitting alone in the garden, her face reflecting the sadness in her eyes. "Mother, I'm sorry," Prince Obi said softly, his voice filled with sincerity. "I shouldn't have blamed you. It wasn't fair." The Queen looked up, surprised by her son's apology. "Oh, Obi," she replied, her voice trembling with emotion. "I only wanted what was best for you. I never meant to cause you pain." Tears welled up in Prince Obi's eyes as he realized the depth of his mother's love for him. "I know, mother. I understand now," he said, reaching out to embrace her. The next day, the king summoned Prince Obi to discuss Adama's behavior. "Obi," the king began, his voice firm, "I used to admire Adama's intelligence and bravery, especially after she helped the villagers. But I won't tolerate her nonsense behavior in the palace any longer." Prince Obi listened attentively, knowing that his father's words carried great weight. "She can't continue to disrespect me and disobey the palace rules," the king continued. "You must send her back to her parents." Prince Obi felt torn. While he understood his father's concerns, he couldn't help but feel conflicted about what to do next. After the king's discussion with Prince Obi, he sought out Adama and found her in the palace garden. With a heavy heart, Prince Obi gently broke the news to Adama, knowing it would be difficult for her to hear. "Adama," he began, his voice steady but filled with concern. "My father has reached a difficult conclusion." Adama's initial shock quickly turned into a storm of anger. Her eyes blazed with fury as she absorbed the gravity of the situation. "What?" she erupted, her voice shattering the peaceful atmosphere of the garden. "How dare he? After all I've done for this ungrateful kingdom!" As Adama's anger escalated, she lashed out, insulting the king and questioning his judgment. "He's ungrateful and clueless," she spat, her words dripping with disdain. "He doesn't appreciate anything I've done." But Prince Obi, unable to tolerate Adama's disrespect towards his father, intervened firmly. "Enough, Adama," he declared, his voice cutting through her tirade. "You are out of line. Your behavior is utterly disgraceful." With a heavy heart, Prince Obi continued, expressing his regret for ever marrying Adama. "I wish I had never married you," he admitted, his tone filled with sadness. "Your manners are appalling, and your disrespect is unforgivable." In a final decree, Prince Obi made it clear that Adama's time in the palace was over. "You must leave in a few days' time," he stated firmly, his words leaving no room for argument. "Whether you like it or not." Driven by desperation, Adama sought the counsel of a local native doctor, hoping for a solution to her predicament. With a glimmer of hope in her heart, she listened intently as the doctor outlined his plan to charm Prince Obi and the king into letting her stay in the palace. With each word, Adama's anticipation grew, convinced that this was her ticket to securing her place in the palace, once and for all. Returning home, Adama wasted no time in putting the charm into action. With trembling hands, she followed the doctor's instruction, her heart pounding with anticipation. But as the charm took effect, something went horribly wrong. Instead of feeling the surge of power she had expected, Adama was engulfed in a wave of excruciating pain. She cried out in agony, clutching her head as her vision blurred and her senses spun out of control. The palace echoed with her anguished shouts, alarming everyone within earshot. Servants rushed to Adama's side, their faces etched with concern as they tried to calm her down. But the pain was relentless, and Adama's cries grew louder with each passing moment. It was clear that her attempt to manipulate fate had backfired spectacularly, leaving her to face the consequences of her actions alone. As the commotion reached the ears of the king and queen, they hurried to Adama's side, their faces filled with concern. "What is happening here?" the king demanded, his voice stern. But Adama remained silent, refusing to speak until Prince Obi arrived. Just then, Prince Obi entered the room, his brow furrowed in confusion. "What's going on?" he asked, his eyes widening in surprise as he saw Adama writhing in pain. Adama's confession came tumbling out in a rush of words. I'm responsible for Kioma's blindness and ugliness," she cried, her voice filled with guilt. "I was jealous of her beauty, even though I'm more intelligent. But all the handsome men in the village always choose her over me." As Adama's admission hung in the air, a miraculous transformation took place. Before their eyes, Kioma's sight returned, and her beauty was restored in an instant. With a gasp of disbelief, Kioma realized what had happened and wasted no time in rushing to the palace to find Prince Obi. As Prince Obi laid eyes on Kioma, his breath caught in his throat. He was struck by her radiant beauty, now restored to its former glory. A sense of awe and wonder washed over him, mingled with relief and joy at seeing his beloved Kioma whole again. The palace erupted with gasps and whispers as word spread of Kioma's miraculous transformation. Servants and courtiers alike marveled at the sight before them, unable to contain their astonishment at the wondrous turn of events. Amidst the chaos, Adama fell to her knees, her heart heavy with regret and remorse. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she begged Kioma for forgiveness, her words filled with sorrow and desperation. "Please, Kioma," she pleaded, her voice choked with emotion. "I'm so sorry for what I've done. Please forgive me." Kioma's heart softened as she looked upon her sister, her eyes brimming with compassion. With a gentle nod, she forgave Adama, her forgiveness a beacon of hope amidst the turmoil. But Prince Obi knew that justice must be served. With a heavy heart, he asked Adama to pack her belongings and leave the palace. Despite her tearful protests and pleas for mercy, Prince Obi remained resolute. "I'm sorry, Adama," he said, his voice tinged with sadness. "But you must face the consequences of your actions." And so, with tears of regret and remorse, Adama bid farewell to the palace that had once been her home. As she departed, she carried with her the weight of her mistakes, knowing that forgiveness was a gift she could never fully repay. And as she vanished into the distance, the palace stood silent, a testament to the power of love, forgiveness, and redemption. When Adama arrived home, her parents, who had just returned from the farm, were shocked to see her there. They anxiously inquired about Kioma, unaware of the events that had unfolded. With a heavy heart, Adama recounted the entire story, her voice trembling with guilt and shame. Her parents were horrified by Adama's actions, unable to comprehend how she could harm her own sister in such a cruel manner. Despite Adama's tearful pleas for forgiveness, they remained unmoved. "You must leave our house and never return," they declared, their voices stern and resolute. Adama's world crumbled around her as her parents rejected her, refusing to listen to her pleas for reconciliation. They branded her as evil and wicked, fearing that if she could harm her own sister, she was capable of even greater atrocities. No amount of begging or pleading could sway their decision. Heartbroken and alone, Adama left her parents' house, her hopes dashed and her spirit broken. In her despair, she vowed to make everyone pay for her suffering, including Kioma and Prince Obi. Despite the lessons she had been taught, Adama's heart remained consumed by bitterness and resentment, leading her down a path of darkness and revenge. Seeking solace in the company of a friend, Adama found herself welcomed into the home of someone equally cunning and deceitful. As she poured out her tale of woe, her friend's eyes flashed with anger and indignation. "That prince is wicked," her friend exclaimed, her voice dripping with venom. "He must be dealt with." Adama nodded fervently in agreement, her own resentment fueling her desire for revenge. With a wicked gleam in her eye, her friend vowed to take her to a powerful native doctor, one who could help them exact their vengeance upon Prince Obi and anyone else who stood in their way. As Adama's friend led her to the powerful native doctor, their hearts brimmed with anticipation of the revenge they sought against Kioma. With trepidation and eagerness swirling within them, they arrived at the secluded hut where the native doctor dwelled, hoping for a solution to their sinister desires. With a solemn expression, the native doctor listened to their request. However, to their dismay, he shook his head gravely. "I cannot grant your wish to kill Kioma," he said, his voice carrying the weight of centuries-old wisdom. "Her spirit is too strong." Adama's heart sank at the news, her dreams of vengeance slipping through her fingers like sand. Yet, determined, she implored the native doctor for an alternative solution. "There must be something you can do to weaken her," she pleaded, her voice laced with desperation. The native doctor pondered for a moment before nodding slowly. "I can create a potion to cloud her mind and drive her to madness," he offered, his words tinged with caution. "But be warned, the consequences could be dire." With determined hearts, Adama and her friend grasped onto the native doctor's offer, eager to cloud Kioma's mind and drive her to madness. They were willing to risk it all for revenge, blinded by their desire to claim Prince Obi for themselves. But they couldn't foresee the dangerous path they were about to embark on, and the consequences that would follow their reckless actions. Adama had a sneaky plan to trick Kioma into leaving the safety of the palace. She asked a palace maid, who was busy with errands, to give Kioma a fake message. The maid hurried to Kioma, looking worried, and told her that Adama was really sick and needed her help right away. Kioma felt worried for her sister and quickly got ready to go. But before leaving, she stopped and prayed for guidance and protection. With each word, she felt stronger and more ready to face whatever lay ahead. With a brave heart, Kioma set out, unaware of the danger awaiting her. As Kioma walked towards Adama, she felt worried about her sister. Even though she felt uneasy, she kept going because she loved Adama so much. Adama was waiting eagerly for Kioma to arrive, getting closer to her sneaky plan. When Kioma got closer, Adama felt excited and mean, knowing she would soon have her sister with her. But Kioma also felt something wasn't right. She couldn't ignore the feeling that something bad might happen. Still, she kept going, determined to help her sister. When Kioma laid eyes on Adama, she couldn't believe her sister's deceit. "Why did you trick me into coming here?" Kioma demanded, her voice tinged with anger. Adama explained that she hadn't been herself since leaving the palace and wanted to apologize again. "I just want to apologize again," Adama pleaded, hoping for forgiveness. Kioma, still hurt, eventually relented. "Okay, I forgive you," she sighed, though the hurt lingered. Trying to make amends, Adama offered Kioma her favorite dish. "I made it just for you," she exclaimed eagerly. Kioma hesitated at first, but the aroma proved too tempting to resist. With a reluctant nod, she took a bite. As the flavors danced on her tongue, Kioma's heart softened. "Thank you," she murmured, her anger melting away. With a sense of closure, she bid Adama farewell and headed home, a weight lifted from her shoulders. As Kioma walked away, Adama couldn't contain her delight. "Yes! I have finally got her!" she exclaimed triumphantly, her laughter echoing with sinister satisfaction. "Let's me see how she will marry the prince now." With a wicked gleam in her eyes, Adama was happy that her sneaky plan was working. When Kioma got back home, she bumped into Prince Obi, who wanted to know where she had been. She told him everything, but when he heard she had eaten at Adama's house, he got really mad. "You went there and even ate. Kioma, you never seem to learn," Obi exclaimed, clearly upset. Kioma quickly said sorry and promised not to do it again. When Adama found out that nothing happened to Kioma after eating the food she gave her, she became even angrier. Her hatred for Kioma and Prince Obi grew stronger than ever. Fuming with rage, she stormed back to the native doctor, demanding to know why her plan had failed. "I want to kill Kioma this time," she declared furiously. But the native doctor refused, warning her that Kioma carried royal blood. "Oh wow, so Kioma is pregnant and she didn't even tell me about it," Adama exclaimed, her anger boiling over. but the native doctor cautioned her against doing anything foolish, emphasizing that it would only bring harm upon herself. Adama, seething with frustration, reluctantly backed down, her mind churning with thoughts of revenge. When Adama returned home, she spilled everything to her friend about what the native doctor had said. "Don't mind him," her best friend exclaimed dismissively. "That man doesn't know anything. He's just too old and clueless." Determined to help, her best friend promised to take Adama to a much stronger native doctor. "I know just the person who can help us," she declared confidently. The next day, Adama and her wicked best friend set off to the neighboring village. There, the native doctor greeted them with a sly grin. "Ah, you've come seeking power, haven't you?" he chuckled. Handing Adama some powerful charms, he gave her detailed instructions on how to use them. "With these charms, you'll get what you want," he assured Adama, his eyes gleaming with mischief. Thrilled with the promise of newfound power, Adama eagerly accepted the charms and listened intently to the native doctor's instructions. "Thank you so much," she exclaimed gratefully, her heart pounding with excitement. With her best friend by her side, Adama returned home, brimming with confidence and determination. "Now, we'll see who's in control," she declared triumphantly, her eyes sparkling with malice. As they plotted their next move, Adama's best friend grinned wickedly. "We'll show them what we're made of," she exclaimed, her voice dripping with anticipation. With their sinister plan in motion and the power of dark magic at their disposal, Adama and her wicked friend were ready to unleash chaos upon the kingdom, unaware of the dangerous consequences that lay ahead. At early morning, Adama woke up and started calling Kioma's name. Unbeknownst to her, Kioma was in deep prayers in the palace. As she continued to call Kioma's name, a thunderous light from above struck her, and Adama tragically lost her life. Meanwhile, her evil friend was rushing to help her, but tripped and fell, breaking her own legs with a loud crash. She couldn't move and began shouting for help. Villagers rushed to the scene, shocked by the commotion. Amidst the chaos, Adama's friend confessed all their evil plans. The villagers were stunned, and they took her to the palace. There, she also confessed everything to the king. Upon hearing the truth, the king's eyes flashed with anger. "Banish her from the kingdom," he decreed, his voice echoing with authority. "Let her never set foot in our lands again." With justice served, the villagers breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that peace would once again reign in their kingdom. And though Adama's life ended tragically, her evil schemes were finally put to rest. As everyone heard about what happened to Adama, Kioma and Prince Obi felt really shocked and sad. Even though Adama did bad things, they still felt sorry that she died. Kioma cried a lot for her sister, remembering the times they used to be close. She felt really sad about how things turned out. Prince Obi also felt sad, thinking about all the lies and tricks that happened. But Adama's parents didn't feel sorry for her. They knew how bad she was, and they thought she got what she deserved. She was just too evil, they said sadly. They hoped she could find peace now, away from all the bad things she did. As the village mourned, they hoped that what happened to Adama would teach everyone a lesson. They promised to keep their friendship strong and not let jealousy or lies ruin things. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers so we can bring you even more captivating stories in the future. Your support means the world to us.